I know you're super emotional. I just...
Of course I am. I'm terrified.
I'm telling you that I can read a chart and I can read a poll. I guess you can't. But the reality is when he made that decision...
Your petty insults are so weak, dude.
Don't believe boys should play girls' sports.
They're not boys. I'm not going to listen to transphobia at this table.
They voted for a crook, a person who they know is stealing from...
When I woke up this morning, we had lost 5,000 YouTube subscribers. Subscribers always just go up.
Welcome back to Rattlesnake TV, guys. In the aftermath of the election, the meltdowns have continued, and some of the mainstream media talking heads are absolutely losing their minds. And we love to see it. So today we're going to go through some trolling that's been happening. We're also going to be looking at some of the denial and the cope. And then at the end, we're going to check out what David Pakman has been saying recently. So plenty to get through here. Let's get into it.
Look, if you look at the arc of the Biden presidency, he was in really good shape until August of 2021. When Afghanistan happened, he went under 40, she went under 40, and they really lived there until the end of the presidency. He's still there.
Why?
I'll tell you why.
Because he ran and told us that the adults were back in charge, and that was the opposite.
Yeah, they
of
were
that.
because
and
Donald Trump was a child.
And you know what else?
Yeah.
And you know what else?
He's a
the fact that they wouldn't give these 13 service members' families the time of
bullshit,
day.
Dude.
Time of day.
I'm sorry, but Donald Trump hates veterans. He called them suckers and losers. He did. He absolutely, despite he has his whole life. He has his entire life.
I know you're super emotional. I just...
Of course I am. I'm terrified.
I'm telling you the political reality is that when they made that decision...
It doesn't matter, but you don't admit that Donald Trump hates veterans. You don't admit it. You deny a man, Chief John Kelly, a Marine. You say he lied.
You're still campaigning.
You say he lied. It's not over. It'll never be over. It'll never be over. You wish.
The political reality is when they made that decision and everyone realized, oh my gosh, these aren't the competent adults that we were promised.
Donald Trump is.
And then when you pile on top of it the decisions that made inflation worse, it was a compounding interest of political crap over time that they could never get out of. And that's how she lost the race.
There was a bipartisan consensus to get out of Afghanistan. That wasn't the point. It was the way it was
Trump's
done.
Decision to get
no, hold on. It was the implementation. It was the fact that they took out our soldiers first instead of last, which is, you would think would be common sense. And again, it's like you said, we thought the adults were in the room. That's why people voted for Biden. A return to normalcy, a return to competence. He's a lifelong public servant. We thought we're going to get normal, we're going to get competent. And that's what
we did. And the veterans community,
Afghanistan doesn't signal that. Afghanistan.
The wars in Afghanistan, the war in Iraq, the Republican policies that led to those wars, the idea that Joe Biden made the final difficult decision, and his administration and his military leaders. I mean, you guys live on the tippy top of bullshit mountain. If you actually think that so many people think that the pullout of Afghanistan was the pivot point, are you kidding me?
I mean, I can read a chart and I can read a poll. I guess you can't. But the reality is when he made that decision...
Your petty insults are so weak, dude. You have no idea. Like, I don't even understand if you hear yourself talking. Look, you can laugh all you want, but like, I can't read a chart. Like, it's just so hacky. It's so uninteresting.
Look, the reason that we brought this up is because...
So Scott Jennings is doing his victory lap at the moment at CNN. And I mean... it must be so fun because it is so easy to trigger these people. I mean, they are so mad about Trump winning this election that all it takes is a gentle little prod and you will just send them into a snowflake spiral. I honestly can't imagine how much fun it would be to be on these panels just triggering these people. I mean, it's the lowest hanging fruit, but you really do still love to see it. But on that note, in terms of trolling, which Scott Jennings is actually doing very well, it's not about overt trolling. It's not about giving it to them between the eyes and telling them exactly where to go. It's about the subtle gestures and remarks. It's the little jabs like, I know you're super emotional about this, or Trump won, it's over, brother, stop campaigning. These are the kinds of remarks that produce magic like we've just seen. So really well played there by Scott. On to the next.
I think there are a lot of families out there who don't believe boys should play girls' sports.
They're not boys. I'm not going to listen to transphobia at this table. I am not going to listen to you call a trans girl a boy.
Are you going to allow me to finish my explanation?
When you use a word that's a slur, I'm going to interrupt. That's not how it is. They're not boys. They're not boys. They're not playing girls' softball. I'm not going to sit there and listen to that.
Let's reset for a second because, look, this is a really heated issue, right? And Sharmichael, I know you. I know that you understand that people have different views on this. I think out of respect for Jay, like, let's try to talk about this in a way that is respectful.
Okay, so let me rephrase this since I'm being targeted here.
I don't think you're not, just to be clear, you are not being targeted.
I am, but it's okay.
I'm specifically saying that I know that you are not intending to be transphobic.
He should know that I'm not. But he wants to sit here and
I'm calling you transphobic.
I'm saying
you're using a phrase
I want to give you
an
opportunity.
So the way regular people interpret it,
that's not regular people. That's not regular people. There's no consensus that these are actually boys. This whole thing about trans girls is a canard. We're talking about a tiny, tiny sliver of the population.
That may be the
and we're using that
but my point in terms
to take away healthcare from thousands of people.
Hold on, just get to your point.
My point in terms of its effectiveness, regular people with children look at these things and they say, you know what, this is a bit too far. I do not agree with this. I don't like this. I think Democrats are going way too much to the left on social issues. They're uncomfortable with it. A lot of people believe that. A lot of families believe that. You may disagree with that reality, but that's why Republicans kept running those ads over and over and over again, because they saw the metrics suggested that they were working.
In those ads over and over again and using rhetoric like you just used, saying this is boys playing girls sports.
Well,
First of all, we're talking about 5 people in the entire country.
You would prefer?
We're talking about trans girls being allowed to play with the people who are in their gender. And if you don't believe, you don't have to listen to me. Listen to the American Medical Association, the American Psychological Association.
The American Medical Association.
This is not about the issue.
Guys,
right?
just
This is about trying.
So that was a little bit disappointing, guys, because this was a delicious opportunity to extract some woke liberal tears. But an opportunity missed, unfortunately. You see, our friend with the glasses has adopted the mating strategy of being a social justice warrior. And this has become a part of his identity. And now every time he sees people saying these biological truths, he must fight back. You see, he is a sophisticated liberal. So when he hears these sorts of conservative talking points about men being men and women being women, it's his job to adjust his glasses and stick it to them. He's clearly very emotional about this.
I am not going to listen.
Which is why it is the perfect opportunity to just be very calm, very calculated, and just once again state that men are men, women are women. State the biological facts. Never take a backward step on this one and watch him have a meltdown on live television. And there are so many avenues that you could take with this one. Obviously, the boys are boys, girls are girls. The science is clear on this one. Why don't you stick to the science? You liberals love science so much. You could also go down the path of saying, wait, so you're supporting women getting beaten up by men in a boxing ring? Why are you so against women's rights? Are you a misogynist or something? This one is bound to stir up some rage and tears. You could also say it's not our duty to affirm their delusion. I don't like to lie. And also, I don't like to endanger women. Or we actually care about these people. We care about people with gender dysphoria, and we would like to help them fix their mental illness. I mean, there are many ways you could go about this. Some more subtle, some more overt, but all of them true. Meaning that we can tell the truth and stick to our principles, and these liberals will just melt down. It's not our fault. We're just telling the truth. But what we definitely shouldn't be doing is taking that backward step and saying, well, what terminology would you like me to use? No. Trump's back in office. We are done with that. On to the next delusional take.
There's this sense, right, that whiteness, right, is under threat. The demographic shifts. The country isn't what all of these racially ambiguous children on Cheerios commercials are confusing the hell out of me. Right?
Eddie, a lot of people voted because their life's too damn expensive. And it was here and it was
They voted for, you're telling me, Stephanie, that all of these people who believe that their lives are, that bread is too high and eggs are too high, that they voted for a convicted felon, a guy who said we can grab the pea.
I think that a lot
They
of people,
voted for this guy.
I'm not defending it. But I think there are tons of people that don't pay attention to, and I'm not defending it, don't pay attention to politics at all. But while we live in the most prosperous country in the world, people are saying, life's not fair, I'm not doing well, my son's still living in the basement, I can't seem to get a job, I don't like the status quo, I'm voting for something else, and he was the person.
I love you to life,
I love you,
but I do not believe that. I cannot believe that. And the reason I think you believe it is because you don't want to believe that that's what's really motivating them. It's all always the case. People don't want to believe what the country actually is, because if they believe it, they're going to have to confront what's in them. I don't believe that. They voted for a crook, a person who they know is stealing from, just doing everything to undermine the so-called country that they love. And then they're telling us the BS that it's economics. We know that's not true.
So another high IQ and logical moment there, guys. There you have it. It's not the border. It's not the economy and the cost of living that is making people vote for Donald Trump. It's not the fact that the Democrats are completely insufferable and incompetent. It's none of that. It is racism.
What?
Of course, you guys are just total bigots. That must be what it is. Just bigotry, racism, misogyny. I mean, if you ever wanted a picture of what it means to bury your head in the sand, there it is, guys. Now on to the last bit, which is a very interesting clip that I saw this week of David Pakman describing what happened to his channel after the election. And there are some fibs in here, guys. So let's check it out.
When I woke up this morning, we had lost 5,000 YouTube subscribers compared to where we were last night. Now, the first thing I thought was, is this a glitch? We've been on YouTube for 15 years or something like that, and subscribers always just go up. They just never go down. They go up. Is something wrong with my channel? Is someone attacking my channel? What's going on? So I started texting, and I texted Brian Tyler Cohen, and I texted Tyler Cohen and Brian Cohen and Brian Tyler, all of them. I texted all of them. I texted Jesse Dollemore. I texted Luke Beasley and Farron Cousins and Sam Cedar. And every single one of our channels since last night is hemorrhaging subscribers. What is it that is going on? Here is a graphic. As you can see, subscribers just go up, 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 and they are down. It is not just YouTube subscribers. We are seeing record cancellations of paid memberships. Record cancellations. These are the people that keep the show running. Now, for a moment, I thought, if it's just YouTube, maybe YouTube is purging people who are inactive subscribers. And once a year, usually YouTube does this, and you see a little decline, and then numbers go back up. They're not doing it. They're not doing it. And if that were the case, we wouldn't be seeing paid membership cancellations on the website. So now I understand what is going on. It's terrifying, but it is happening. A lot of people are checking out. I heard anecdotally from a couple dozen people who said, you know, David, I just can't do it anymore. I just can't do it. I'm checking out. I'm out. And the reason that this is terrifying, not only because it puts everybody in left-wing media's livelihoods at stake and at risk, it terrifies me because our instinct is the opposite of what the right does, and we will get crushed if this is the way we respond to a defeat. The right wants us not to exist. The right wants to decimate independent progressive media. And so when I lose 5,000 subscribers and Brian loses thousands and Ring of Fire loses thousands and everybody's losing thousands of subscribers, understand that when the right loses, they get organized, they fund, and they create insanely effective organizations like Turning Point USA, investing in the Daily Wire and building out this huge network of right-wing ideas and influencers. So if you're feeling burnt out, I encourage you, take a break until the inauguration. It's months, okay? Mental health break, do it. But when we start canceling the subscriptions, we are in an algorithmic desubscription spiral right now, because when people start unsubscribing on YouTube, YouTube thinks, oh, we probably shouldn't recommend this content because it's generating a lot of unsubscribes. So then the content doesn't get recommended. And then the message doesn't get out. And then next election, they win by even more. So I do understand the instinct, But if we cede ground to them, they crush us everywhere. Now, we're up against a MAGA Supreme Court potentially till 2050. We'll talk about that later. We're up against a completely uninhibited Trump.
Okay, so a few things to address here. I mean, first of all, conservatives not wanting you around is a lie. We want you to be around. We need you to be able to make fun of. Secondly, for people who don't really know how this whole YouTube game works, let me enlighten you as to how much of a grift this is. And if you're going to grift, if you want memberships, you don't have to act like you're sort of falling off to get the memberships. Just say, hey, listen, I want some money. I like money, even though I'm a leftist, even though I'm not necessarily going to distribute it all equally to all of my employees. I like money. I want money. Just say it, brother. But for those of you who don't really know how this YouTube thing works, let's have a look at Social Blade, which is where you can go and check out the analytics of all of these channels. So his claim is that he lost 5,000 subscribers after the election. Let me show you just how insignificant that is. So all year, sort of stagnant, which is to be expected, gaining subscribers every single day. But then after May, when the election starts to heat up, boom, it goes up. You can see him in the month of June, he gained 40,000, 100,000 in July. August, he gained 160,000, 90,000 in September, 80,000 in October. I mean, he is having a really good lead up to this election. And you have to understand, for a guy like this, who's doing these sorts of numbers, he is making very good money in the lead up to the election. Plus, if you're doing political content at this time, the ads pay a lot more. Advertisers are paying big money to get on these sorts of channels. You can see here this big massive bump. He did 110 million views in the month of August, 82 million in September, 71 million in October. I won't go through the dollar amounts, but let me tell you this much, guys. He's not struggling. Once you have a look at those sorts of numbers, losing 5,000 or 10,000 subscribers is absolutely nothing. So yeah, he's doing good. And I like to see it. I mean, I like to see independent media doing really well. And I hope that his success continues, because having people doing well on the left and right on YouTube with independent platforms is a fantastic thing. It creates a little bit of balance, a little bit of competition in the space. It allows for back and forths. So I mean, by all means, go and check out David Pakman's channel. If you like it, subscribe. Listen to what he says. Listen to what we say. Make up your own mind. All healthy, but I mean, to act like you're in some sort of trouble or your business is in some sort of trouble, that's a stretch. All that's going to happen now is that you won't be making quite as much money as you will during the months leading up to the election, but now it'll just sort of go back to normal, which is also really good money. So speaking of shameless grifts, guys, we just have launched our channel memberships. We've got different tiers. First tier for the first month is our Chunky Yogurt tier. Everybody has to do their apprenticeship on the Chunky Yogurt tier. And then on the second month, you get to Base Chad, and you can check out the rest of the tiers yourself. So hoping to build up some channel members from now on. And as per usual, guys, don't forget to like that video and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to watch another one right here. Next time, I'm Jake. This is RattlesnakeTV, keeping you armed and dangerous.